Till the Groke Falls in Love, a story written and read by Adrian Onyando. Part 1, Chapter 1, Adventures on the Ancient Path. One lazy afternoon, as Prince Lion was about to take a nap under an acacia shade, a gust of wind came and scattered his beddings, which were dry leaves, green, red, pink and yellow colors merging into brown like the color of the savannah soil. "Away with you, nasty ghost," said Prince Lion angrily. He hated to be disturbed in his hideout, a place where he would lie and dream on soft leaves under a blue sky in the cool atmosphere of the shade. "Nobody, not even a fly, disturbs Prince Lion in his nap," he said, looking around to see whether the nasty ghost was still around. He would punish him with a quick slap by the paw. But the wind had died away, and the air was still and clear, humming an afternoon song which sounded like the buzzing of bees. Actually, he had learned this song from bees. Prince Lion gathered his beddings neatly at the foot of the acacia tree. "Good," he said, pleased with his beddings, now thick with layers upon layers of leaves and grass. He hummed his song once more until he felt his anger gone and drowsiness transport him to that mysterious secret land where he met friends that he had never met before. They were the majestic bears, smiling as they hunted in the snow, and the playful foxes, frolicking on the rocks. Then there were some other dog-like animals looking on from the mountains. For some reason, they looked quite unfriendly. They were howling horribly, coming down the mountain at him in his savannah hideout, and everything they touched, even the ground on which they trod, howled along with them in those peals of devilish sound. They were coming with the speed of lightning and were aiming at a target, and the target was him, the prince of the savannah. He had to do something. A lion must never be caught napping. Prince Lion woke up and sprang to his feet. Presently, his beddings were lifted into space and scattered. It was the wind again. Prince roared in anger. He stretched his full body and leapt into the air, charging. Then he recognized something. This was no ordinary wind. It was corn-like, whirling, tossing and making all sorts of patterns in the air with the very beddings it had stolen from him. It howled and whistled and then lifted itself higher and higher into the sky. It was Whirlwind the Wanderer. Within seconds, it had disappeared into the thin air, leaving quite an amount of dust and leaves in Prince Lion's face. The lion leapt back to the shade and ran around. His mouth was open, tongue sticking out, the throat letting out growls, and the heart beating like a war drum. He cast his eyes here and there and into the sky. He felt thirsty and itchy and yet tired. "Cool down," he said to himself. "The whirlwind is only teasing you." Well, he knew what he would do. He would also tease the whirlwind. He quickly swept the leaves into one place and lay on them. He closed his eyes halfway and threw his paws lifelessly in the air. He pretended to be deep asleep and snoring. He waited for some time, but nothing happened. Tired of waiting, he rose up saying, "The whirlwind is a joker, a nasty joker." "Haw! Not nasty," cried a voice from above, high up in the canopy. The lion flashed his eyes at the canopy. He leapt and caught an animal at the throat. It was the baboon who had perched himself on a branch. "Oh, lion, the great wrestler, please let," said the baboon, choking in pain. The lion let him go. "I am sorry, but I thought you were the whirlwind. Next time, make sure you announce your arrival," said the lion. "I hate those who take me by surprise. What were you saying?" "The wind is not a joker," said the baboon timidly. "I can see something behind you." Prince Lion turned quickly and picked up a neat white envelope. He opened it up without looking at the stamp in one corner. The letter was in neat handwriting, like that of a writer who had invented his own manual font. It read, "My dear friend Prince Lion, I hope you are doing well in the savannah. I wish to invite you to Lapland where I live. Please come and enjoy the winter with me. Come with as many friends as you can. I have prepared for a Christmas party. Sincerely, KB." He read the letter again. Immediately he remembered Karhu the bear, KB to his friends, in his Karuntalo home in Lapland. Sana the swallow is known as the tireless traveler because every year she flies to the north with her flock to enjoy the summer there, and then returns to the south to escape the winter. Once upon a time, in the heart of the savannah, she met Prince Lion as she was preparing for her flight to the north. "Good morning, Sana," said Prince Lion. "Please tell me about the north." Sana the swallow flew round and round until Prince Lion thought she was a crown around his head. She flew high into the blue sunny sky and disappeared. But actually, she was looking below at the acacia trees, the deep green bushes, the landscape of rolling hills, great rocks and valleys. She dipped into the high brown grasses and grasped at a grasshopper to nibble at. She darted into the great lake, took a quick bath and a cool drink from the sparkling waters. Finally, she perched herself on the tree above Prince Lion and said, "It is a strange place of very cold seasons. It is covered with cotton-colored things called snow, and darkness is upon the land all day long." "Do people live there?" asked a puzzled Prince Lion. "Yes, Karhu and his clan." "Karhu? Who is that?" asked Prince Lion, getting interested. "Prince Karhu, the bear, lives in his wonderful Lapland den called Karuntalo." "Then go and tell him I'm his friend, and I wish to see him." As Sana was about to take off, Prince Lion waved his paw at her, saying, "Wait." He went to his den at the foot of the rolling hill and wrote a fine letter to dear Karhu. It read in part, "I am Prince Lion. You probably have heard of me, but please allow me to introduce to you my other friends." He went on writing, "Ogila the hare is clever. His forge keeps him busy forever. Odanga the elephant has a proboscis. If only it could suck water by osmosis. The daring rhino aims with only one horn. No one has dared him since he was born. The buffalo looks like a cow, but if you tell her, she'll ask, 'How?' The leopard is agile and beautiful. The giraffe, fast-sighted and graceful. Her patterns prove the painting was good. The hippo, not unlike a huge trunk of wood, was once as handsome as a horse. His famous face, a study in a correspondence course. The roan antelope bellows across the plains. The zebra's many stripes meet at the manes. The ostrich has wings that look light, but never has he used them for flight." In all, the lion introduced some very close friends whom he called the Big 100 and mentioned thousands more. He only stopped writing because he thought that a letter with more names might be too heavy for Sana the swallow to carry on her long journey. Through Sana, the lion and the bear became good friends, even though they had yet to meet. They exchanged letters and longed to visit each other. Prince Lion longed to see how a country could be as white as cotton, and why the snow would not melt for a whole season. And the bear, on his part, longed to be at a place where days and nights were of the same length throughout the year, and summer was the only one season. The time for adventure was now, thought Prince Lion. Yet he wondered why Karhu the bear had invited him for Christmas through Wellwind the Wanderer, of all the messengers. Why hadn't he sent Santa as he had always done? But his friend may have wanted to surprise him in all ways. He turned around to share his surprise with the baboon. "It is my friend Karhu the bear. We must visit him," said the prince. "Well, if we must," the baboon said laconically. He was not so enthusiastic. The savannah had everything for him, and he wondered why people would bother about going anywhere. "Let's go to Odanga the elephant," said the lion. The baboon came down and walked with Prince Lion to a forested hill. There, Odanga the elephant was uprooting trees and throwing them about. The rhino was wrestling with an anthill, the leopard struggling up a straight tree, the tortoise talking endlessly to herself, the ostrich running to and fro, the monkey jumping from tree to tree, and the fish eagle flying round and round. "Stop it! I have a surprise for you," said Prince Lion. "Elephant, call a meeting at once." The elephant blew his trumpet, and presently every animal was assembled. Prince Lion announced from the back of the elephant, "Far away in Karuntalo in Lapland, the winter has come to that land, and my friend Karhu the bear, so our friendship may not wear, has said we are all invited. Are we not excited?" All animals chorused back, "Hey, yeah, yes we are." "There will be a party in Christmas, so let us all consider Christmas gift." He paused. "Ogila," he called the hare, "tell us what we need for the journey to the north." Ogila the hare was regarded as the wisest of all the animals, learned and practical, although at times a cunning joker. He worked out many ideas, inventions, and tricks at his workshop overlooking the Great Lake. He had been working the whole night and morning, and had only taken a break to come to the meeting, and he didn't intend to stay there for long. He stepped forward and recited, "A map, a gift, a compass, provisions, unity, and a purpose." This was said so fast that most animals did not make it out, and many did not understand. Some made suggestions of their own. "Remember to carry heavy clothes," said the weaver bird. "I've heard it said that it is very cold there." "Cold weather," echoed another weaver bird. "By my yellow wings and black back, I swear I shall get used to it." "My feathers, if the cold weather should pluck them off, I'll be walking on my toes." "And if it should pluck off your toes?" "I shall be walking on my kneecap." "And if it should pluck off your kneecap?" "I shall be crawling on my belly." "And if it should disembowel you?" "He he he." The weaver birds conversed in sing-song about the cold weather in the north. "And a harp for singing," said the robin chat. "True, true, true," said the singing sisticola, who, like the robin chat, was also a singer. The robin chat said, "Let me sing you a song. A harp for the melody, in heat or cold, no agony." "Let me tell you, I'm not going anywhere," said the baboon. "For those who are going, I can lend you my snout." "Oh, my tail." "A snout for what?" asked the monkey. "To befriend faces like mine and to scare those unlike mine," said the baboon, making a scary mask of his face with clay soil. In the end, Prince Lion stopped the conversation, some of which were very funny, like the hyena's suggestion for animals to carry truckloads of bones, as if the animals had any trucks. "We will carry only our basic necessities," said Prince Lion, "not everyone's luxuries. Ogila, let's have a talk at your forge." Prince Lion consulted with Ogila for some time. "I'm working on some project," said Ogila the hare. "Can I remain behind?" Prince Lion glared at Ogila. "How can you even think of such a thing? We need you on the journey." "The journey is important, but so is the work at hand. The legend of the sun must be accomplished." "The legend of the sun?" said the lion, searching his memory. "A mere story about the sun returning to earth at midnight." "But our journey is real. Prepare the animals for it." And he walked away. Ogila the hare went round, checking how the animals were preparing. When he came back to his forge, he found Prince Lion waiting for him there. "And now, the Christmas gift for Karhu," he said. Ogila scratched his head for a long time, and the sun rose while he was still scratching his head and muttering, "The Christmas gift?" And he would doze off and wake up still mumbling, "The Christmas gift?" 1 week later, Prince Lion announced, "We shall set off tomorrow." The animals were so excited that they hardly slept that night. Even Ogila the hare, ever adventurous, had been persuaded to postpone his Legend of the Sun project. Singing and drumming and trumpeting filled the air, and the conversation had the same lines. "He said we are all invited. Are we not excited? Hey, yeah, yes we are." Early in the morning, the animals were ready. They gathered at the foot of the round hill. They were happy about the journey, but also sad that they would miss the rolling hills, the plains, and the great lake. Grandmother Tortoise, who was the oldest of all the animals, said, "In the beginning, it was like this. All the animals were together, and then they set off on a journey. Very slowly at first, but they picked up speed on the way. Now, they are far away from here. Today we follow in the path of those who went to the north. It is going to be very exciting." "Hey, yeah," said the animals, "but also very risky." It was too exciting already, and Grandmother Tortoise, warning, was drowned in a medley of animal, insect, and bird sounds. Only the little squirrels asked, "Risky? How can a journey be risky?" "Because the path is full of monsters and mysteries." The squirrels did not understand, but they shuddered because the words monsters and mysteries sounded like the animals would encounter very terrible creatures. They were just about to ask more questions when the weaverbird said, "Hush!" And the praying mantis put her hands together and prayed, "May the journey be well for all of us." "Hey, yeah," said the animals. "That blesses the journey," said Grandma Tortoise, assuring the squirrels. Ogila the hare read the map. It was a magical one, showing the current weathers and landscapes. He then said, "Always stick together, and whenever you are tired, you must always say these magic words. Rain or sunshine, bees or flies, the north is our destination." "The north is our destination," chorused back the animals. "Where is the gift?" asked Prince Lion. There was silence. Ogila the hare scratched his head. "Where is the gift?" roared Prince Lion. "It is like this," said Ogila. He took Prince Lion aside and whispered in his ear, even though the latter looked as though he was going to eat up the hare. The animals murmured about Ogila being not serious. "These days, he only talks about the legend of the sun," said the weaverbird, "and he shuts himself in his workshop carving birds that he says will fly." He should create for himself a wing, said another weaver bird. And learn to fly on it, said a bird. Can you imagine someone creating birds like us? Said the weaver bird. Aha! Laughed the hyena. He's playing God. I hope he will make bones for me too, and then he will be my God. Ha ha ha! The little squirrels were puzzled. Who created us? They asked. Where were we created? They didn't get any answer, but they were sure it was not the hare who created them at his forge. That workshop should be given to someone else, the hyena suggested in a serious tone. After all, the workshop did not belong to Ogela's grandfather, but to someone else. And who was that? Asked the weaver bird. The hyena laughed a lot in his effort to remember, cracked his fingers, and then a bone, but ended up with the same statements. After all, the workshop did not belong to his grandfather, but to someone else. He then gave out such a loud whoop that the weaver bird was just too ashamed to be talking to him. She put as much distance between her and the hyena. A makeshift workshop was made for the hare to work in, and Elephant kindly offered to carry it on his back. Now, you can work on your project, even as you make the gift, said Prince Lion to the hare. The hare made a thumbs-up sign as he got into the workshop for a smooth ride. He made some fire, fumbled with some metals, but could not think of anything to forge immediately. He turned to his diary and began to make an entry. He called it the list of all animals traveling to the north, their characteristics and stories. It read, I like it here because I can see everyone. Ageless grandmother tortoise was born at the beginning of the world. But her stories, are they truth or lies? Well, if Karoo likes the truths, I suspect he does, we shall separate them from the lies and give them to him as Christmas gifts. The robin chat dances and sings with an angelic voice on the papyrus reeds. The weaver bird is noisy but very talented in weaving baskets. The hyena, if it were not for his cowardice and love of bones, would be a great gentleman of the savannah. Here too is Kibi Kibi the honey badger. He loves honey so much. The animals cheered as the journey started. What a journey it was. The hare saw the giraffes march ahead, looking far into the distance so that there was no need for scouts. They sang the giraffe song as they climbed up a hill. Kapur, kapur, necks along, legs along, kapur, kapur. The journey is long, please pace up, kapur, kapur, kapur. Watch the march, kapur, kapur. From the top of the hill, they announced that they could see groves of bamboos, teaks, pines, and oaks. The ancient path had been overgrown with a forest so thick that it was almost impossible to go through it. The monkeys chattered in excitement, but the other animals were sad. Don't worry, said Old Monkey, and he ordered his troops to work. The monkeys helped carry animals from tree to tree. Sometimes they used their tails as ropes to jump from tree to tree. Sometimes they literally threw animals from one tree to another, catching them in the air before they landed home. It was exciting to the kids, but not to the adults who thought it was a dangerous game. Odanga the elephant sniffed at the old forest, coiled his trunk around one bamboo tree, threw it into his mouth and munched it. He felt refreshed, darted, and simply crashed through the forest, trumpeting and clearing the way for other animals who didn't like the monkey games. Kibi Kibi the badger trotted through the cleared path, looking at the ground. He ran forwards and backwards, so full of energy. Then he suddenly stopped, looking at something intensely. What is it? Asked the inquisitive squirrels, crowding around the badger. Marks, said the badger, putting his paws into one mark to see if it matched. It didn't. He tried another. It matched. The animals were puzzled by the discovery of marks of hoofs, claws, and feet. They tried their paws, hoofs, and claws into them, and found that they fitted. Grandma Tortoise quickly explained that they were in the right tracks, which had been used by the gone generations when leaving the savannah. This surely is the path, and we are going to follow it up to Lapland. I am walking in the tracks of my ancestor, said Honey Badger proudly. Turning to Grandmother Tortoise, he asked, Grandma, why did my ancestors travel? And did they travel to Lapland? Well, whoever heard of honey badgers in the north? They just roam around the savannah. Kibi Kibi was sad about his ancestors' lack of real adventure as he called this journey to the north. But Grandmother Tortoise had some good news for him. Well, some of your ancestors did reach the north, and let's see what role they played in history. She turned the pages of the book of her memory. Yes, they were fierce fighters who fought in the battle for Toad Hall. Battle for Toad Hall? Asked the squirrels who never let a story pass without a question. Yes, the greatest battle that has ever been fought by the riverbank people. Who is Mr. Toad? Where from? Why was his hall taken? How? Asked the squirrels, hoping to get the story miraculously all at once. Mr. Toad is the most famous toad in the world. He was kept in prison for misbehaving, but he later planned the simplest prison escape ever in the animal history. Anyway, while Toad was away, Toad Hall was taken over by the enemies from the woods. It was General Badger who led in the fight to free it. This answer only whetted the squirrel's appetite for Grandma's stories. Meanwhile, Ogila the hare was still making entries into his diary. The monkey's tail is long. Is it a blessing or a curse? The elephant's proboscis, is it a trumpet or a nose? And the porcupine's spines, are they hairs or darts? A tail, a proboscis, and a spine can all be fine gifts, but how to forge them is the question. Can a tail be long if it is cut? How does a proboscis leave the elephant? And how can a spine be made outside the porcupine? Ogila the hare took a break from writing. He became aware of the sounds of the march, the silent snort of the hippo, the blaring of the antelopes, the whining of the wild dog, and the laughter of the hyena, the songs of the birds. All the sounds mingled to form a melody that was far more enriching than water or food. He listened to the weaverbirds sing songs and pictured them at home building nests. But now they were not building nests, and so were idle, gossiping, and probably making noise. Maybe they could be of help, he thought. They could weave a basket for Karhu to carry his fruits. He came out of the forge and looked at the weaverbird, and sure enough, she was trying to weave a nest out of ugly blades of grass. The next minute, she was gone. The landscape was changing so fast that Ogila the hare was lost. He climbed to his workshop and looked at his map. Now, it showed water and green vegetation running through the heart of the continent. He looked up and saw the waters of a vast river.